My girlfriend said, "If you want me back, you'll apologize to my father and ask for his blessing." I agreed. I drove to his house and showed him the year's worth of texts from his daughter detailing how she was cheating on me and planning to leave me as soon as I put a ring on it. His blessing was to help me pack her things. Update 2: I gave Megan a full day to savor her victory. I let her believe I was a broken man, nervously preparing for my pilgrimage of apology. On Thursday afternoon I called her father. "Mr. Henderson," I said, my voice steady, "it's David. Megan and I had a serious argument, and I believe I owe you an apology for the distress it's caused her. She also said it was very important to her that I get your blessing for our future. I was hoping I could come by this evening to speak with you man to man." Mr. Henderson, a man who appreciates old school formality, was clearly pleased. "Of course, son," he said, his voice warm. "My door is always open. Come by around 7. Before I left my apartment I prepared my evidence. I had spent the last year compiling the screenshots into a single chronological PDF file. I printed the entire 150-page document. I also loaded the file onto a new clean tablet that I had bought specifically for this purpose. I wanted him to see the messages exactly as I had in their native format. I arrived at his house at 7 o'clock sharp. He welcomed me into his study, a warm wood-paneled room that smelled of leather and sawdust. He offered me a drink and we sat in 2 large armchairs. "All right, David," he began, his expression serious but kind. "Megan is very upset. She said you two had a bad fight. What's on your mind?" This was the moment. I didn't get emotional. I presented my case like a project manager outlining a critical structural failure. "Sir," I began, "I'm here to ask for your blessing, but not in the way Megan expects. I'm here because I respect you and because I believe you deserve to know the truth about the person your daughter has become. For the last year I have been the victim of a calculated long-term deception, and I have proof." I placed the thick printed document on the table between us. "This," I said, "is a record of the last 12 months of text messages between your daughter and a man named Julian." He looked at the document, then at me, his expression hardening with confusion and concern. "Before you read that," I said, "I want you to see it for yourself." I handed him the new tablet with the message thread already open. I discovered these by accident on our shared iPad at home. Once I understood what was happening I began documenting them. He took the tablet. For the next hour the only sound in the room was the quiet swipe of his finger on the screen as he scrolled through a year of his daughter's lies. I watched his face. I saw the initial confusion turn to shock. The shock turned to a deep, profound sadness, and the sadness slowly inevitably curdled into a cold, hard fury. He read the messages where they mocked my job. He read the details of their secret trips. He read their entire cold-blooded plan to get me to buy an expensive engagement ring before she manufactured a fight and left me. He saw in her own words her complete and total lack of respect for me, for our relationship, and for the values he had tried to instill in her. When he finally reached the end he placed the tablet on the table with a quiet, heavy thud. He didn't look at me. He just stared at the wall for a long time. "The coffee creamer," he finally said, his voice a low growl. "The fight was about coffee creamer." "Yes, sir," I said. "That was the manufactured fight she had been planning for months." He finally turned to look at me and his eyes were full of a terrible, fiery disappointment. "She is not the woman I thought I raised," he said, his voice thick with a pain that was deeper than anger. He stood up and walked over to the window, looking out into the dark. "You came here to ask for my blessing," he said, his back to me. "And you have it. You have my blessing to get as far away from my daughter as you possibly can. You are a good man, David. You build things. You're honest. You deserve a hell of a lot better than a daughter of mine who would stoop to this." He turned back to face me, his expression now one of grim resolve. "This is not your mess to clean up," he said. "It's mine. I am going to handle this. But first there's something we need to do. Let's go pack her things." Update 2. The drive from Mr. Henderson's house to my apartment was silent and heavy. He sat in my passenger seat, a statue of grim determination. We weren't two men connected by a woman we both loved anymore. We were two men united by a woman we had both been deceived by. When we walked into my apartment, Megan was on the sofa scrolling through her phone, a smug, expectant look on her face. She saw me first and her expression brightened. She thought I was returning, tail between my legs, with her father's blessing secured. Then she saw her father walk in behind me. Her smile vanished, replaced by a look of utter confusion. "Dad, what are you doing here?" Mr. Henderson didn't answer her. He just walked to the center of the room, his eyes scanning the space. He looked at the pictures of them on the wall, the little trinkets she had collected. Then he looked at her and his expression was one I had never seen before. It was a look of profound, cold disappointment. "Get your things, Megan," he said, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. "You're leaving. Now you can watch the third part by pressing share and more.